What's destroying you isn't out there. It's not in the noisy streets, on the screens, among the rival factions you oppose, or even the people you label as the others. Everything is happening right here, inside your own chest. You call it faith. You call it a promise of freedom or a quest for justice. But maybe, just maybe, it's an idea that is consuming you from within, stripping away who you really are. Dostoevsky wrote this specifically for you back in 1872. With eyes that saw beyond his time, he realized something vital. Without even knowing it, you've become a prisoner to someone else, to a system, or to an ideology. Every great idea looks like a door whispering that it leads to a better world, to light and to peace. We can't help but listen to that whisper. But here's what you need to know. Some doors are only locked from the inside, and no matter how hard you push from the outside, they won't open. You believe in something so intensely, so unshakably, that you've lost the ability to tell the difference. Did this belief truly spring from your heart, or did that idea claim you like a puppet, using you for its own ends? Dostoevsky's Demons doesn't offer easy answers. It doesn't promise comfort. Instead, it takes that one massive question you flee from every night when your head hits the pillow and slams it right into your face. You already know the answer. You're just not brave enough to look at it. Today, we aren't just examining a dusty old book. We're going to perform spiritual surgery on the truths you hold sacred, the fears you hide behind your social media personas, and the grand ideologies you think are unbreakable. If you're ready, let's go deep into the soul with the cold scalpel of truth. Imagine a freezing Moscow morning in 1869. It's so cold your breath hangs in the air. There's a group of young people there, educated idealists, 100% convinced they can make the world a fairer place, full of confidence and arrogance. They decide to sacrifice one of their own, Ivan Ivanov. Do you know what his only crime was? He just wanted to leave the group. He wanted to walk his own path, away from the noise. But the cause could never allow an individual to be free. Their leader, Sergei Nechayev, framed it as a matter of principle. The cause is above everything. When Dostoevsky read about this in the newspaper, he was shaken to his core. He saw the real killer behind the murder, the idea. Today, we aren't just reviewing a book. We are performing an autopsy on the human soul. Demons isn't just literature. It's a philosophical warning sign left for all of humanity across the centuries. And at the center of this storm, this chaos, stands Nikolai Stavrogin. Stavrogin is the dark sun around which all those demons, those radical ideas, revolve. He has immense intelligence and impressive power, but he's a man with no purpose, no compass. He is a spiritual vacuum in human form. He commits mistakes, breaks hearts, and causes destruction not out of passion, but out of profound boredom. To understand the chaos and mental occupation in this book, we must first understand Stavrogin's ice-cold, hollow chest. He is an aristocratic symbol of nothingness who has lost the ability to distinguish good from evil. When the foundation is that empty, any destructive idea can easily fill the void. If Stavrogin is the idea, Pyotr Verkhovensky is action itself. He is a sinister, determined spider weaving the web of revolution down to the finest detail. Pyotr represents a radical generation that believes everything existing, all tradition and morality, must be burned to the ground to build a new world. He is a master of manipulation. His goal isn't just a political seat or a shift in power. His true target is to uproot human morality and conscience entirely. Pyotr creates a chain of paranoia by establishing 5-man cells where everyone suspects and watches one another. In this chain, there is no individual, only numbers that serve the cause. Through Pyotr, Dostoevsky created the prototype for the trolls, the manipulators, and the voices that steer the masses for their own gain that we see so often in the modern world. He became the face of modern chaos long before these words were even invented. And what about Aleksey Kirillov? He is perhaps the most tragic and mind-bending character in the book. Kirillov is trapped by a single logical question, a single philosophical obsession. If there is no higher power, no creator, then man is his own master. Man is God. And if man is the absolute master of his own life, he must prove this freedom. Kirillov's tragedy is that his intentions aren't evil like Pyotr's. He is simply searching for the truth. But this search drives him to the point of ending his own existence. He signs his name with his own life to that famous phrase, "If there is no sacred law, everything is permitted." To truly understand demons, we have to look at the soil these young men grew in, their fathers. Stepan Verhovensky represents the generation of the 1840s. He is a poetic, romantic, idealistic westernizer. He is Stavrogin's teacher and Pyotr's father. Through Stepan, Dostoevsky makes a brilliant observation. The soft, poetic, and irresponsible liberalism of the fathers paved the way for the violent, destructive, and ruthless nihilism of the sons. The fathers just talked. They sipped champagne and dreamed of saving the world. But the sons took those dreams and turned them into weapons. Stepan is a man who only speaks but never acts. His tragic journey at the end of the book is an attempt to face his past and find a sort of purification. But it's too late. The seeds he sowed have already turned into monsters. Then there's Shigalyov, whose theory is chilling even today. Starting from unlimited freedom, I arrived at unlimited despotism. According to Shigalyov, 90% of humanity must be turned into a will-less herd under the absolute rule of the remaining 10%. Here, Dostoevsky predicted the horrific totalitarian regimes of the 20th century, a world where people are turned into file numbers, decades in advance. When we lose our spiritual anchor, we don't just become free, we become a field that any foreign idea can easily occupy. When individual conscience begins to be seen as an obstacle to a grand collective goal, humanity starts its fall into the abyss. Do you know what's most terrifying? The men in that 5-man cell accepted this destruction voluntarily. Why? Because the idea had seeped into their minds and souls like a virus. They were no longer humans, they were carriers of an idea. Dostoevsky wasn't speaking like a prophet when he wrote this. He was a man who had walked through the fire himself. In his youth, he was part of secret circles that wanted to shake the system. He knew his life would change when there was a knock on his door one morning. When the court sentenced him to death, those few minutes he spent waiting on the scaffold in the biting winter cold summarized his entire life. In those final seconds, when a messenger arrived to say his sentence had been commuted to exile, Dostoevsky was no longer the same man. During those 4 grueling years in Siberia, he always carried that prisoner on the scaffold inside him. That day he realized, what led him to that square wasn't a promise of freedom, but a state of being possessed. Those dark forces that occupy minds can turn a person into someone they don't recognize. That's why this book is a philosophical scream. Look at Pyotr Verkhovensky again. Where is he today? He lives in those thought leaders with millions of followers on social media, in those algorithms that constantly polarize us, and in those anonymous accounts that fill you with hate by scratching at your sense of justice. Pyotr didn't die. He just changed clothes and went digital. Something that is obviously wrong can't trick you. You can only be enslaved by those so-called righteous ideas that catch your most sensitive spot, stroke your sense of justice, and say, Look what they did to you. You must take revenge. It is now 2026. Social media algorithms trap us in echo chambers. We only hear what we want to hear. We only believe what we want to believe. The demons that gave Dostoevsky's novel its name are walking among us today as code, pixels, and viral videos. Now, honestly, look at yourself. What idea do you believe in so blindly that questioning it for even a second feels like treason? Is it a political view, a religious interpretation, or even a love for a sports club? Did you truly examine, filter, and choose that idea? Or did that idea find you in a weak moment and make a home for itself? A possessed person mistakes their captivity for freedom. They feel clearer, more righteous, and bolder than ever. That very feeling is the greatest proof that you are in a mental prison. Because truth requires doubt, questioning, and humility. The moment you say, "I know everything," you have been possessed. At the end of the novel, the city burns. Everything turns into a pile of rubble. But as old Stepan is dying, he speaks the purest and most terrifying truth of his life. I have lied all my life. But that lie wasn't actually mine. It just passed through me. This sentence is the most painful autopsy a person can perform on themselves. Realizing you spent your whole life in someone else's script, defending someone else's lie. Dostoevsky doesn't offer you an escape hatch or a rose-colored dream. He just whispers this question in your ear and leaves you alone with it. Has that great idea you believe in become greater than you? If what you believe in takes away your humanity, your conscience, and your ability to question, it is no longer a belief. It is a burden dragging you toward the abyss. Stepan realized this with his last breath. When will you? The autopsies will continue at this table. Our next guest will be Tolstoy's Ivan Ilyich, a man who thought he lived a perfect life, only to realize it was a grand delusion when he faced the inevitable end. If you have the courage to hold a mirror to your soul, stay at the table. Take a deep breath and look at the rooms of your mind. Which room's key do you hold, and which door is locked from the inside? Remember, a person who can truly see themselves in all their nakedness cannot be possessed by any ideology, any algorithm, or any demon. Freedom is not about possessing an idea, it's about not letting any idea possess you.